Star Citizen Alpha 3.20 Fully Loaded is now officially out. Why is it called Fully Loaded? Probably because of the cargo updates and the Hull C. You can get a lot of cargo on that ship. We are going to go over what's new with the persistent universe with 3.20, but also new ships, the sales, known issues, all that jazz. A big portion of this patch is also Arena Commander updates, new game modes, master modes being tested. We're going to be covering that in a separate video because there's so much to go over. There are some very cool videos of the new patch and features and new ships from CIG, so I suspect they're going to be behind me as B-roll. But there's also a ship sale going on. 3.20 comes out. Every time there's a new major patch, there's an excuse for a bit of a ship sale. This one's focused on racing and cargo ships. For the most part, you've got the Hull C. The Hull C is news to this patch. It is a massive cargo hauler and has an equally massive increase in price. It was $350, but now the new price of $500. That's ridiculous. I thought it was going to go up by maybe like $50 at most. That means that the Hull D, although technically and actually not flyable at the moment, is cheaper to buy if you could buy it. Can't buy the Hull D at the moment, but it's $450. If you have a Banu Merchantman, you will notice that Hull C now available to you as a loaner ship. The Hull C has 4,608 SCU of cargo space, which makes it a super hauler. It is the biggest cargo ship in-game many times over currently. It does have times associated with loading and unloading it though. There's a new special mechanic for that, which we'll come to in a bit. The Fury LX, again, new with this patch, it is a dedicated racing variant of the Fury. Probably one of the best racers at the moment, although I am no expert in racing. It's agile, it's fast, it's small, it's good. These might also suit explorers or players looking for a fast personal shuttle to take with them. Because they're so small, you can take them on a load of different ships. It's a snub, though, so no quantum drive on board, and it has no weapons. Instead of going for weapons and that sort of jazz, it has more thrusters, because it is a racing ship. Also, it's currently available from $55 with lifetime insurance. So you can buy Furies in a pack of up to 6 at the moment if you are crazy. There's loads of big ship packs available. Those ships are flyable now as well, the Hull C and the Fury LX, but will also be, or should be, purchasable in-game by the end of the year. So you can purchase them with real money. They are flyable now, and in 3 months' time, sort of, with 3.21, they should be purchasable in-game. Beyond that, there are a load of racing ships on sale at the moment. The Origin 350R, the Dragonfly, the Fury MX and Fury LX and the Standard Fury, the M50, the Mustang Gamma, the Nox, the P72, all of the Razors, which is the Razor EX and LX as well. A couple of cargo ships, Hull ships, the Hull A and the Hull C. So Hull A, $90. I think that's a bit expensive. Hull C, $500. That's very expensive. Also, we've got the Nova tank. Why is that on sale? Well, there is a Nova Tank Royale mode in Arena Commander, so potentially because of that. Also, the Reliant Tanner's on sale for $75. I don't understand why that ship's on sale at all. It's not a focus. Cloud Imperium, in my opinion, should be encouraging people to buy the Gladius as a starter pack at the moment, or something like that, mainly because of Master Mode testing, which is going on with the Gladius as the main ship that's being tested for that. There are a ton of skins available for pretty much all the ships that we talked about there as well. There has been no wipe for Alpha 3.20. However, you may have lost items that weren't stored in the long-term persistence database, so if you hadn't taken an item out of your inventory and then stored it in a home location or something like that ever, then there's not going to be a record of it. Also, at the moment, salvaged items aren't carrying over. Neither are ammo and consumables, things like that. Rented ships, refinery jobs, things like that don't carry over either. But reputation persists. Most of your items, your ships, your Alpha UEC, that should have all persisted, which is absolutely fantastic. So new features with the patch, Seraphim Station. Basically, they've replaced Port Olisar around Crusader. We now instead have Seraphim Station, which basically goes, this is all of the facilities that you need and all the facilities that the other stations had, or the low orbit stations had, with like clinics, so you can actually respawn there, and habs and shopping and decks, and much larger. It looks a bit like Port Olisar still. It's got the rings, so a lot of people are going to be sad that Port Olisar is gone, but it was an essential move as they wanted to put some future-proofed stuff there as well, with the ability to do bounty hunting eventually, and lots of other stuff going on. Underground facilities update. Rastar is a tool which is used to build points of interest on planet surfaces. So they've basically gone, bam, let's update the current underground facilities with Rastar in mind and using Rastar. So all underground facilities have been replaced in the same positions as they were previously, with the settings they previously had applied to them reapplied where appropriate. This means functionality at the current locations is more or less no different. There are some minor changes to the exterior layout, and AI may operate a bit better in them. This is getting them ready for being made more modular. New missions will be coming to them in the future, and new sort of updates to the interiors. Salvage cover-up missions. So these are missions that will basically say, please go here and remove all the exterior of a hull of the ship, because we want to make sure that no one is aware that this was a Nine Tails ship. So these are illegal. You're tasked with hull scraping the entire ship before the before the security forces turn up. Don't do it on time, you'll fail the mission and you'll get attacked. It's actually a mission that encourages you to do salvage as quickly and as efficiently as possible. 3.20 also has combat logging prevention, so anti-combat logging, I suppose. With this updated mechanic, the player, while they are in combat and outside of a green zone, must sort of remain in the persistent universe for a short period after exiting the game or to a menu. So you'll get a warning saying, are you sure you want to exit because you're not in a safe area? This means you can't Alt F4 to disappear. If someone's shooting at you, they will be able to continue shooting at you and blow you up and steal all your stuff. So along with that Hull C as well, there is the new automated cargo transfer experience. So the existing cargo transaction system, which other ships are still using, will sort of instantly pop all the purchased cargo onto your ship or instantly remove it when you sell it. Bam, bam. The Hull C, however, requires a new experience. So after you purchase some cargo, you will have to leave the station that you are at, then contact the ATC service, and then that will direct you to an area, a loading area to go to. So once you get there, it will ask you to stop. You will have to extend your spindles, and then you'll get loaded with the cargo that you purchased, which will take some time. Up to 5 minutes based on the amount of cargo that you have purchased. Again, very similarly, when you sell, the same things happen. You go to a kiosk, you sell it, and then when you're leaving the station, you'll get your ship, contact the ATC, and then go to the unloading area, and it will take some time to unload. Once you're done loading and unloading, do move out of those areas because you do get warnings for basically being in the way, and you will get impounded if not. Cargo's seen some big updates as well, so previous versions of the cargo system only dealt with 1 SCU containers and used fairly simple logic. They're now supporting various sized boxes to be placed in cargo holds. This is 1 SCU boxes all the way up to 32 SCU boxes. Various orientations of boxes are also supported in the grid, and this also includes temporary tractor beam strength changes to support the attach-detach feature for big boxes. So you can move 32 SCU boxes with the hand tractor tool currently, but that is temporary. These larger sort of boxes are meant to be picked up by larger tractor beams, ship scale tractor beams, stuff like that. Additionally, related to cargo, they've greatly increased the internal storage of the Drake Corsair. That will make a lot of Drake Corsairs, or at least their owners, very happy. There's been a mining stability and polish pass. The Argo Mole has had various improvements for the pilot, so now you can use the ships and mining scanners as the pilot, and this will not allow the pilot to use the lasers of the different seats, but will give the pilot a load of information while directly being able to scan minables. So this is really sort of useful for coordinating the ships sort of lasers and then deciding when to move on, which is something very much that the pilot would want to be able to do. Wheeled vehicle handling improvements have been made. So this is updates to ground vehicles and parameters for simulation, giving them some more interesting physics, allowing for more robust tuning and identity between various ground vehicles. They're certainly not going full sim with anything like this, but ground vehicles now have a lot more weight to them and they feel a lot more satisfying to drive. There's been an AI ship difficulty rebalance, so there's been very small pools of ships available for use in AI missions up to now. With this change, they've included every single ship available that can quantum travel for a mix of both criminals and civilians to use, though some didn't make sense for criminals, like they don't want to use the Cutlass Blue, for example. This update includes a full AI rebalance for ship difficulties, so ships have been divided into difficulty bands. They've also made a new ship difficulty band of very hard, which is now reflected in the very hard bounty and assassination missions. Kind of annoyingly, there's been some keybind updates for 3.20, so these are not particularly well reflected in the visuals for key bindings. At the moment, they are incorrect on them, in fact. So there have been loads of changes to default key binds in the latest 3.20 update. Activate ping has changed to hold and release V. Flight ready has been changed to right alt and R. Decoupled has moved to C. Cruise control has moved to left alt and C. Mobiglass is on tab. There have been some updates to vaulting and mantling, which will make the process much more smooth and intuitive, so players are now able to grab ledges while running and jumping, and generally grabbing yourself up a ledge, mantling, vaulting, all that sort of stuff just works more consistently. Notifications and communication settings have been updated, so now you can basically block comm calls from non-friends, as well as block friend requests, notifications, party invites, and Alpha UEC transactions. HDR, high dynamic range, is now enabled with players with a compatible monitor and hardware. This is activated in Windows by going to Display Settings and selecting Use HDR, then open Star Citizen and select HDR in the Graphics tab. Server crash recovery has been updated for persistent entity streaming to now remember the last location the ship held for landing and landed and docked at. This will allow players who hit a server crash to have their ship spawn back at the last held location instead of their chosen home location where the landing area may not be equipped to handle their ships, such as a fully loaded or extended Hull C. I'm interested to know how that's going to interact with the anti-combat logging stuff. MFD persistence, a long requested feature. So custom vehicle MFD selections should now persist for as long as you keep the vehicle intact. So these are the screens on your ship that you may have moved some bits around or saved them in a particular state. Players should only have to set MFD menu selections once per vehicle, but if you lose that and then insurance claim the vehicle, it actually creates a new vehicle. Thus, you will lose the saved custom MFD if you claim a ship or vehicle back. Ship quantum HUD alignments have been done. So basically, they've gone, some of these ships, their HUDs and UIs didn't sort of clearly line up, and now they do. So quantum jumping and all that sort of jazz is a lot less fiddly. They've also made the general UI there a lot cleaner. Also with HUDs and UIs and the Mobiglass more easy to read on bright backgrounds. They've also hidden selective UI bits while opening the Mobiglass in the pilot seat, so stuff doesn't contrast and clash. There have been absolutely tons of bug fixes, performance enhancements, optimizations, and stability improvements for this patch. However, the patch still has a load of known issues. Potentially a few more of these known issues could have been fixed if Cloud Imperium had waited a little bit longer to release the live build. This is going to be true just because of the nature of time and Cloud Imperium fixing this stuff. However, a lot of this stuff will be fixed pretty quickly in hotfixes, and there's also going to be 3.20.x patches coming between now, CitizenCon, and the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. So the 21st to 22nd of October, you've got CitizenCon, Intergalactic Aerospace Expo towards the end of November. The Jumptown Dynamic event is running on the 21st of September as well, so it's potentially we might get some hotfixes even before that's actually launched. So known issues, let's talk about them. I think if you're newly installing Star Citizen, then there might be a QR code in the top right when you're in game. You can turn this off in graphics options. Just change session info QR code to no. Key bindings on the visual aid, they're incorrect and can be quite frustrating. You're like, oh, what are the buttons? There are various Hull C issues. Sometimes you can't undock the Hull C. There are a set of workarounds for this. First, if the Hull C has cargo pending, then request detach via the cargo center rather than the regular ATC. Second, if the Hull C doesn't have cargo, make sure the spindles are collapsed, then store and retrieve again, and then request via the ATC on Mobiglass comms. That only appears to happen sometimes, fortunately. When spawning a ship at a docking port, the ship will spawn clipped into the docking port, which is annoying. The Hull C with cargo can spawn extended in the large hangar instead of a docking port. Probably best to sort of collapse the Hull C before going into storage or logging out. The ATC can fail to detect vehicles within the landing zone or fails to initiate cargo transfers properly. It's possible for gates at Orison to not open, preventing players from entering shuttles. That is really annoying. Laser repeaters occasionally stop firing but still consume ammo. Snub ships can clip through the Constellation variants in a vertical position when retrieved from ASOP terminals. Players lose loadout after dying in armistice zones. The right-click item interaction menu in inventory can sometimes not be closed once opened. Combat AI will teleport and pop around in combat. Not ideal. This is really annoying. Caterpillar hulls can give invalid material message for salvagers. You can't respawn on a ship at a med station that's been streamed out. The room system does not protect player actors from extreme weather conditions in Lorville. Sometimes if you click store a ship and ASOP, it actually destroys it. Players and items can fall through the bottom deck of the Redeemer. The Reclaimer bridge elevator is missing an interaction. Client FPS can drop if players are inside the cockpit of a Drake Cutlass of any description. The Carrack's main elevator can get locked in place and then begin to spin indefinitely. Refuel, repair, and rearm services are either unavailable or still chargy and nothing happens. Inventory can enter a state of becoming unresponsive, preventing players from being able to eat or drink. And Wallace Klim, the mission giver, is not visible at his location in Grimhex. Now, those bugs don't always happen all the time. They're not this always happens, but they sometimes do, and they need to be fixed. And a lot of these will get addressed in hotfixes. Alpha 3.20, other than that, is actually looking pretty good. There is an audio degradation bug I've noticed people talking about. I believe that's actually being focused on at the moment and will be fixed ASAP, but apparently some audio is driving some people mad. Stability-wise, best patch I've seen so far, at least for me. Haven't seen a 30k or a crash yet. The real sort of test for it is that Jump Town dynamic event running from the 21st. Let's see how broken the game gets from that. Invisible players, desync, that's the sort of, and performance drops, that's the sort of stuff that I'm looking at. And is the game, can I actually log into it? Are the login servers broken? Are there queues? That sort of stuff. And it's looking pretty good at the moment, so let's hope that they continue to improve that. As I said, there's a huge amount of Arena Commander stuff in this patch, and we will cover that in a video ASAP. But I'm really interested to know what you think of Alpha 3.20. Have you jumped into the Persistent Universe? Have you tried out the Hull C or the Fury LX? Are you looking at Star Citizen in a whole new prettier light with HDR? Are you really liking those quality of life updates here? Are you having a much better experience than you had with 3.18 and 3.19? Or are you having a terrible time? Is everything exploding? Is it the least sort of stable patch you've ever played? Or are you going to be just jumping into Arena Commander a lot, seeing that's been updated so much and has received so much love? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below, along with what do you think of that Hull C? I'm really interested. It's obviously massive. Have you been pirating them? Have you been pirated by them? 4,608 SCU. That's so much SCU. NordVPN is amazing and you should buy it. It's so useful, it's easier to tell you what it can't do. NordVPN can't do your taxes. Nord, how much do I owe for VAT? NordVPN can't help you buy more spaceships. Nord, add a terrapin to my shopping cart. NordVPN can't cook for you. No, my cabbages! And NordVPN can't be your girlfriend. Can't or won't NordVPN, if that is your real name. NordVPN.com/BoredGamer will help you connect to the internet more safely, securely, and anonymously, with greater access to the content you want. But can I teach it to love? Links below for the best NordVPN deals around. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and for September, that's for the Drake Corsair, that fantastic exploration ship. Not only will you be able to explore the verse with it, but the ship is perfectly competent at a huge range of gameplay, and is a fantastic mission-running ship. You can use it for cargo, you can put some vehicles in there. It's reasonably good in a fight. One of the true multi-role, multi-crew ships. To be in for a chance of winning one of those, just comment on any of my videos made during the month. More details down below. Also down below are links to be able to support the channel more. There's the join button, making you one of my elite channel members. You'll get occasional exclusive content. There's also YouTube badges and emotes to show your support. There's also Patreon for those of you that prefer that. We try to mirror the rewards on there as well. But just people liking, subscribing, and sharing these videos goes a long way. A heartfelt thank you to everyone that watched the video. I hope you have a great September, and I'll see you in the verse.